All right, so in this video, we're gonna talk about everything about setting up a teleport store at a high level and cover some of the dirty little secrets, some of the little tricks, and some of the little solutions that you can have when setting up a store with teleport. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. So teleport allows you to print and ship items directly to your customers without you owning a print farm. You get to use our print farm. The way it works is you have a store like Etsy, and then you go ahead and you sign up for teleport. You then connect teleport into the shipping provider that you like. You connect that shipping provider to your Etsy store. That's the start of it all. Based on what country you're in and what you're wanting to do and how much you're wanting to ship, some of that may change and move around. But let's keep it simple. Etsy, shipping provider, teleport. Cool. Obviously, you need to set up an Etsy store. That's kind of necessary. You can't really do anything with teleport if you don't have a store. So you do have to set that up. You can set it up on other platforms. You can use basically anything other than Etsy too. You can sell on Amazon, you can sell on eBay. All of those will connect into teleport. But they will vary based on what you're wanting to do. If you're setting up an Etsy store, Etsy currently has a membership startup fee, which I believe is 19 to 20 bucks. So you will have to pay Etsy that to start up the store. If you're doing Shopify, that can be 20 or 30 bucks. Though they have a promo running most of the time, which is the first 3 months for $1. So that gets you started. Teleport itself is free up to 30 orders. If you go more than 30 orders, then the shipping provider in the middle will have like a $10 membership fee in between. If you're a really professional user who's gonna move hundreds or thousands of orders through teleport, then the shipping provider can go up to about $100 per month. That's how the growth curve goes on that. Teleport does have a premium tier, but that premium tier gives you access to third-party components and additional benefits as we keep on going along here. So that's kind of the lay of the land for starting stuff up. So you get that set up, you get your store set up, pay whatever you gotta pay over there for hosting it all, get the shipping provider set up, get teleport set up, teleport is free, there you go. Now you've got all that setting right there. But now you have to get files and parts and things. So you might have to hire somebody to design something. You may have to license files to get started. These can be additional fees too, 5 or 10 bucks a month in order to license 3D models. What I'm going through here, all this is just kind of the checklist of things that you have to be aware of in order to start up a teleport store. Worst case is I scare you. But if you're scared by a checklist of like 10 to 20 items, then you probably shouldn't be starting a business anyway, because there's way more stuff than that if you actually want to run a business. But okay, so you go ahead and get some models. Maybe they're designed, maybe they're licensed, maybe you design them yourself, in which case maybe you're buying a piece of design software. Or you can try some tools around. There are plenty of free tools around that can give you baseline items. You upload all those files, the 3D models, to teleport, and then you can either enter in the SKUs of your products in order to have them matched up so that when you get an order they come through. You're basically matching up files to the listings inside of your Etsy store so that when somebody orders a purple octopus over here, it's matched up to the purple octopus file. Say that 5 times fast. And then that file is matched to the colors so that when it's ordered, that octopus file is printed in that color and then shipped to that customer. And now you have all the files set up. Great. So now you have a store with products connected to teleport. Fantastic. Next thing you want to do, if it's a brand new product, you probably need to order a couple of prototypes from teleport. Prototypes, make sure that it's printing out the way you expect and that your file is decent and that you are selecting materials and things that work well with that file. Because different materials can have different properties. Obviously, the machines inside of teleport may be slightly different from your own if you're prototyping at home. So there's things to just confirm there. So budget like 25 or 30 bucks to buy a couple of your own prints from yourself in order to verify that they're being produced the way that you want them to be. If for some reason you run into any hangups during that whole process, there's a little chat box down at the bottom of teleport. Just enter in whatever your issue is right there and somebody will get in contact with you and we can chase down what the issue was. Oh, the file is unprintable. Oh, the material doesn't work for that. So on and so forth. Whatever it happens to be, we'll work with you to help improve that. Okay, you have verified that the product that you're gonna sell is gonna be made to spec the way you anticipate it to be, so that now when a customer orders your purple octopus, they get the purple octopus as you intended. Now you have a store fully set up. This is the whole process, except now you have to figure out how to get the customers. This is another place that can take some money. Now, if you have reach or you know where the audience is, you can share it inside of Facebook groups, you can share it around on the internet, you can of course start sharing it inside of Reddit groups, that kind of stuff. If you designed a product, there's a lot of ways to get organic reach out there. But if you're selling on Etsy, chances are you probably need to buy some Etsy ads because Etsy ads move you up to #1 in the search listings for your product. So it's generally good to do Etsy ads. What I recommend is generally budgeting somewhere between 25 and even 50 bucks for Etsy ads and spend it like 10 bucks at a time to where you can see if you get any sales from that. Your first few sales will probably be unprofitable because you don't know how to sell the thing yet. So just plan on that. Plan to break even kind of at the beginning as you're getting this rolling, but then you know you have a stable foundation where you're like, I know the ads work on this, I know the product is good, I know that people like it, I know that it's made reliably, everything is in place, and now you're just figuring out how to close the deal. And as you grow, everything becomes more profitable the bigger you get. So spending 25 to 50 bucks on ads, if you spend that much on a single product inside of Etsy and you don't get any sales, you may want to get a different product, or your Etsy listing is really, really bad. Make sure you have good photos, good listings, all that rest of that kind of thing. We have videos about that on the channel. But if you don't sell any of those, that product might not be a good product. You need to find something different. But you don't want to have to do that 10 or 20 times. So test small, test $5 or $10 at a time. If you can't get a sale from about 25 bucks of ads spent on a single product, that product is probably a cow and you need to get rid of it. But once it's rolling, and if you do start hitting those products that can be really good, and then you have a business that is ready to go and is now able to run passively, because you can let the ads run, you can let Teleport run, you can let all the other services run, and it will start to generate revenue passively. But there is this work up front. Anything worth having takes a little bit of effort. We have reduced the effort entirely, because if you had ever wanted to sell a product like 5 years ago, you would have had to come up with $10,000 to $100,000 to get molds and get it made in China and then ship it over here and store it in a warehouse and then send it to an Amazon warehouse. There was a lot of setup then too, and it was a lot more expensive and way more complicated. Now you have to create the file, upload it, connect the pipes for the system so that everything can talk to themselves, but you have something that is reliable, stable, and costs dozens of dollars rather than thousands of dollars. And that's a wild improvement from where it ever was before. So now it is mainly on you to do the sweat and labor of creating the product and setting up the systems and setting up the e-commerce store so that you can have a viable business. But if you go through those steps and you do it consistently and you give yourself time, you have the same probability as anybody else starting up a business, which is about 1 in 10 of being reasonably successful. This is a terrible belief of it all, and I hate to leave it right there. But the good news is that it's so much cheaper than it used to be that rather than having one giant swing and you have to hit it out of the park, you can actually try this multiple times. If the first store doesn't work, you might be out like $100. You can go drive Uber for a couple of days, get that back, and then go try again. And this is the incredible part, is that you no longer have one big swing and then you're bankrupt. You can do it over and over and over again to learn how to do it well and to grow. And when starting a business, that is the most important thing. Iterate, improve, get smarter. There will always be plenty of work. None of it will ever be easy, but it definitely is getting easier today than it has ever been before in human history. Have a great day, everybody.